don't be intimidated. Brisket is very, very easy to make, actually. I'm going to show you step by step how to make it. Smoked brisket. So this is prime brisket, and I always start off with a really good prime brisket. And what you're looking for is nice fat cap. You're looking for a flop, and it's going to be well marbled. This is prime or AAA, and I couldn't turn this one down. It was $2.99 a pound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right about here. This is a whole packer brisket. So there's the point on the top and the flat on the bottom, but I'm going to cut it because it's just too much meat for the two of us, and I'm going to make jerky out of the flat part. So I'm going to take off about 3 pounds right there. This is 10 pounds. So I'll take it off right about there. We're going to put it fat side down. Now, before we mix up the rub here, I'm cooking on a ceramic grill called a Primo. It's a Primo oval. And I also cook on Big Green Egg. And so we would use these in competition. It'll hold its heat for, geez, I can get a 24-hour cook out of this. So I started this an hour ago, and I've got some really good charcoal on the bottom called maple leaf charcoal. It's a lump charcoal, and I buried in some applewood, some pesticide-free applewood, about 5 or 6 chunks. And another wood that I recommend is this Jack Daniels hickory. It's very good. So I started this about an hour ago, and then I have fire bricks. We want to cook, so I've got fire bricks, and then I've got a water tray underneath. So this is going to drip right, the fat from this will drip right into the water tray. The reason for the water tray is, as this renders out and you've got the connective tissues breaking down, it's going to release a lot of liquid and fat, and I don't want it to burn on and create smoke, create a rancid taste. So I like to put a water tray underneath, especially in the ceramic grill. To start it, I fill my chute with lump charcoal, and then I use a torch to get it going. 15 minutes and you're done. Now the recipe for this is below in the comments section, but what I've got here, so I've got the flat with the point. This is going to be delicious. And this has been burning for an hour, and we're going to go at about 250 degrees. So I've got some garlic powder, some kosher salt, some mustard, onion powder, some fresh ground pepper. I'm just going to mix this up with their fingers. Now I'm smoking this today, but if you don't have a smoker, I have some other recipes for brisket that are really good. Sous vide. You could take that whole package, pick the sticker off, and put it into the sous vide bath. 155 for 24 hours. That's a really good brisket. Another good one is foil braising brisket. That is delicious. That can be done in the oven also. So this is mixed up well. I've got some Worcestershire sauce. I'm just going to brush that on. Sprinkle the rub on. Now you've got some purists that just want to smoke it. They don't want anything on the outside, maybe a little salt and pepper, and they just let it go. But this is kind of how we do it in competition with the rub, and then we're going to wrap it. There, like that. Flip that over. More Worcestershire sauce. That adds a really nice tang. Helps the rub stick too. There we go. Now we're going to go on fat side up, cooking indirect. So this is 250 degrees. You can see the Nice smoke coming up. You want to have really clean smoke too. So this goes right in the center with the fattest part against the back. This burns hot on the back, so I'm going to put it like this. Right over top of my water tray. And down we go. Now, I'm not putting a temperature probe in right now. What we're doing is we're going for smoke and we're going for color. So we want to take it to that stage. So we don't really need an internal thermometer or an instant read thermometer yet. We'll do that in the second stage. So I'm going to let this go for, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. It all depends on weather. It's going to be a really sunny day today, and the wind's not howling up the vent. So I'm happy with this. I'll see you in a couple hours once it starts to firm up a bit, and we're going to spray some apple cider vinegar on the outside. Okay, it's been 2 hours. And my temperature is just holding perfectly at 240 degrees. Smells fantastic out here. Now it's time for the spray. So I've got some apple cider vinegar. This is Bragg's apple cider vinegar in a little spray bottle. And I'm just going to spray this up. And I'm going to do this every hour, every half hour. I'll take a picture here with my camera. And you can see it's starting to get a little bit of color. So what I did was, there's another little piece of fat that you're going to see in the picture. And remember, I'm making beef jerky. So I took the fat off and then I put the rest of my rub on it. And I'm just smoking that up. That's a little treat for the chef. I'm going to let this go for a couple more hours and I'll spray it every once in a while. I won't keep my lid open too long. Okay, so we're 6 hours into the cook now. The Primo has been holding rock solid at 240 degrees. And I managed to get all of my apple cider vinegar on. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to wrap it. They also call it the Texas crutch. It's going to break down the connective tissues into a very tender beef. So I'm going to bring the brisket out. So this first stage that we did, you can see the nice color on there. That's all we're doing, is we're smoking it and we're going for color. And I've got some great color. I'm just going to kind of jimmy this over like that. I'm going to keep the fat on there. So I'm going to put this on a piece of tin foil. We're going to double wrap it. And for tin foil, you want to buy really good heavy duty tin foil, and we double wrap it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this temperature probe, bring up the sides on this. Seal up one end. There you go. Fold it over. Turn this like this. And you can also use an instant read thermometer. This is a thermopen. So if I put this in, we're going to go into a stalling stage. And that's the plateau. And it's around 140 to 170 degrees. So this is at 160 degrees right now. So that means that it's in the plateau or the stalling stage. And it can take several hours. 159 now. We don't need a thermometer for the first part because we're just going for the smoke, and we're going for color. We want a really nice bark on the outside. So now I'm going to put this probe in, and it's going to stay in there for the rest of the cook. I'm going to double wrap this. Just like that. And this will stay on the outside. It'll stick onto the metal. And I can see. So this is showing 153 right now, but that'll pop back up because it's not as good as the thermopen, but it's pretty accurate. So we've got our smoke, we've got our color, we've wrapped it, and now it's going to go back on. If you ran out of charcoal at this stage, or pellets, or however you're smoking it, you could take this stage and put it into the oven. At the same temperature, 240 degrees would be good. So I'm going to put this back on. Still fat side up, indirect. I'll just stick this onto the side like that. See, rock solid. That'll go for hours. Still at 240 degrees. So I'm going to let this go until I get up to 180 degrees, and then we're going to pull it out and we're going to put it into a cooler and put some towels on top and then let it rest. So it's going to take probably, I'm going to say we're at 160. It's probably going to take another 4 hours, probably 3-4 hours to get through that plateau. Okay, on to the next stage. So we wrapped it in foil, put it back on the smoker or in the oven, whatever you're doing. Okay, our temperature's at 180 degrees now. And what I'm going to do is take this off and put it onto this cookie sheet. Okay, we have a couple of choices now. One, we can take this brisket and we can put it into a cooler. We're at 180, it just went up to 181 now. You can see that, 181. And we can put it in the cooler and put some, because it's totally cooked and it popped through that plateau that I was talking about. This took 3 hours, just a little over 3 hours to go from 140, 150, 160, and then it just popped through to the 181. So all the connective tissues, it's like a tender piece of beef right now. So we can take this, and I think that's because it was a prime too. We can put it in the cooler and put some newspapers or old towels on the top and let that sit for about an hour. The temperature will continue to rise, probably up to, see that just went up to 182 and it's out of the smoker. And it'll continue to rise probably up to about 187, somewhere in there. Or we can take the point off, we can cut that off and just put that back on and firm it up. Or what I'm going to do today, and all of these are really good, but what I'm going to do today is I'm going to open this up like this, just like that. Oh yeah, that's perfect. The smell is just unreal. You have to be here right now. So I'm not going into the cooler just yet. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it back on just to firm up the bark a little bit. Some people put sauce on it, but I'm not going to do that. This is just like a perfect piece of meat right now. So I'm going to put this back on, indirect. And I'll put this, it's still at 182 here. I'll just put that on the side. I'm going to let that go till it firms up a little bit. And I'm just going to slice right through the point and the flat. And it's going to be delicious. The smell is just unreal right now. And there's still some smoke buried down on the bottom. Okay, the bark is all firmed up now. And my temperature is up at 191 actually. So I'm going to pull the probe out. I'm going to take this off and slice it so you can see what this bad boy looks like. I'll just cut it in half. Oh, we're eating well this week. Look at that. And then you want to slice against the grain, right? So we'll go that way. So I sliced it this way with the grain, and then I'll slice across to serve it. But look at that. You see that? Light, juicy. Holy smokes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wrap this up and put it in the cooler. I just want this to sit and pull the juices back in. There's lots of juices. But I'm going to rewrap it and just put it in the cooler. There's one. I want this to sit for probably, we're going to let it sit for about an hour or so. You can let it sit for a couple of hours. It's just going to get more tender. But I'm going to suggest to serve this, I would serve it with some sauce on the side, or if you're doing your burnt ends. I really like this Guy's award-winning barbecue sauce, original. That's really good. And G. Hughes sugar-free sauce is a great keto sauce. No sugar. It's very, very good. This is a maple brown. I like the hickory one, and I like the original. I haven't tried the maple brown yet. But that would be really good and complementary to this brisket, this smoked brisket, for baked beans. I've got a baked bean recipe. I'll put a link to that below. Cauli mac and cheese, corn muffins, green bean casserole, cauli mash, they're all good, and they all go really well with this. Wow, I'm having a good day. This is a great day. Thanks for spending the day with me. Thanks for watching.